Live, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John Genua. Was that you?
Yeah.
Okay, for those who just joined us, I'm John Genua. Welcome to Ash Live. Today we're discussing the Patterson Gimlin film. Patterson Gimlin. A lot of people may not even know what the Patterson Gimlin film is. I didn't know it's the name of that famous Bigfoot film that everybody sees. I want to introduce Jimmy Molloy. He's been on the show before, police investigator. Hello, Jim.
Hey, what's up, Johnny?
Okay, I'm trying to decide whether to have this light on or not. I'm going to go for not, ultimately. I want to point out
your lighting's great.
To our viewers that keep us, for some reason, viewers seem to be concerned about my well-being. They think I may have lupus, but these are just dark circles. I'm telling you, that's all they are. They're just dark circles, I tell you, because I don't sleep very well. So I assure you it's not lupus, okay? So now that we have that,
good to know. Good foot to start off on.
That's excellent to start off on. Patterson Gimlin film, the Bigfoot film. Why are we discussing this? A lot of people have asked that in comments of this particular video ahead of time. Why are we even discussing this? It seems like, oh, well, why would we turn our attention to it? I'm turning our attention to it because it is, whether for better or for worse, part of American history, right? It's part of American history. It's now become part of American culture, the Bigfoot mythos, right? It's all become that. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that people have that opinion on it because with the whole Bigfoot phenomenon and whatever anybody's opinion is on that, everybody's comments always seem to be the same thing. Well, how can you believe with this when there's no evidence? We have evidence of nothing. We've never seen any of it. We've never recovered anything. Yet when you show evidence like this evidence on this video, this very famous video, this is like the creme de la creme of Bigfoot videos. It's like, oh, well, that's fake. Oh, well, that's bull. That's BS. It's like, well, you can't win an argument like that.
You can't win an argument like that. And I have to interrupt you because I have to say, in their defense, what most people are seeing, you're seeing a grainy film, this video, that looks absolutely horrible. Now, I need to point out, we're going to go into depth today. We're going to talk frame by frame. We are going to discuss the analysis that was done on this film to determine whether or not the film at least represents accurately what we're seeing. Has it been edited in any way? So take from that what you will. Whether it's Bigfoot or whatever you want, we need to determine whether the film is accurate, and that's what we're looking to do here, as well as and part of that will be discussing Patterson and Gimlin. Now, I think before we even start anything, I think it's probably a good idea for me to just show a clip of of that video. It's a 59-second video, I believe, with only one frame missing. I want to also point out, we're going to go into detail on this later, but I'm just compelled to point out that this video, it was designed, in 16 millimeter, around 16 millimeters. When they put it on your computer screen or on a display screen, what they're doing is they're speeding it up to 30 frames per second, which means they have to add frames. That's why you're watching it on TV, you're watching it on the computer, you're like, this is garbage, this is trash. How can anybody say that this is proof of anything? Yes. What we're seeing is really terrible, but the actual footage itself is remarkably good. Now, there is a portion of it that is blurry, but there's a large chunk of frames. I think there's 364 frames, if I'm correct. But let's see. I'm gonna right now. Here we go. I'm gonna share this with you. I just think it's a good idea for me to share this, just so everybody has an idea what's going on here.
Sure.
Right, because it's. I'm going to figure out how to... Give me a second. This is really kind of annoying. This is really annoying. Here we go.
There you go.
I'm glad you
she is.
I'm glad you can see that. There she is. That's what's been known as Patty. They call her Patty, right? Patty. So that was relatively short video, right? Relatively short. I'm gonna do that one more time though, just so because it's 59 seconds, right? And it looks very. They've actually stabilized it a little bit. That's why, and they've slowed it down right here.
Yeah.
So that's why you see this little blur around it, right? I want everybody.
Oh yeah, this is like super stabilized.
Correct. Yeah, and that's exact because I wanted to give everybody, just a taste of what this is here. Okay. That's the famous frame.
Yeah, the half turn.
The half turn, very famous frame right there, and that's what we're seeing. It's interesting. What do you make of that?
What do I make of the half turn?
What do you make of what we're seeing here?
I think it's incredible. I believe in its authenticity. And I think the behavior in the video itself is very telling of how an animal or whatever we're assuming this thing to be would behave. I don't think it behaves like a person pretending to be an animal. I think it behaves like an animal. It's clearly moving away in some sort of distress. It's looking back to look at these things, being like, why are these things near me? I'm trying to get away from these things. It seems agitated to me, and it's removing itself from that situation like any animal would.
Yes, it does, and it is doing that. And I'll point out actually that for a while, the location was actually lost because there was a major flood right after that. It took them a while to actually find that.
Bluff Creek?
Bluff Creek, that's right. Yep. It slipped my mind for a second. I want to just give us some facts for everybody. Filmed October 20th, 1967, Bluff Creek, okay? And if you want to know exactly, 40 degrees, 26 minutes north, 123 degrees, 59 degrees west. That's what we have. So 16 millimeter Kodachrome, okay, 25 millimeter lens, film length, 952 frames, okay, 59 seconds at 16 frames per second. Okay, so 352. Frame 352, that's the iconic look around that you'll see Patty, as they call the Bigfoot, turn around. Now, only 3 verified master copies, God bless you, sir, were ever made.
Thank you.
That was for Patterson, A&E, now defunct, and a research, and John Green's research dupe. So I want to talk about, I wonder whether we should first talk about the actual, what happened on the let's talk about first the pre-encounter. This I find very interesting, the pre-encounter area, okay? Patterson was there in advance of the famous film, okay? He had actually been investigating that area in and around Bluff Creek since 1962. Okay, 1964 to 65, he drew a bunch of sketches, and then he wrote Do Abominable Snowmen of America Really Exist? It was self-published in 1966. I have that book. Very good. I read it. He borrowed about $700 from his brother-in-law, Al DeAtley, for film gear. Now, it's interestingly enough, remember this guy's name, this gentleman's name, because his actions immediately leading up to the Bigfoot excursion, we'll call it, can come off as a little suspicious, just a little bit suspicious, okay? He went, in the summer of 1967, several visits to this photo shop. It's A.B. Kutchbert's photo shop in Yakima, Washington. Okay, he brought a whole bunch of plaster casts, and he asked the staff, do these look authentic, right? Interesting way, right, to ask that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Why would you say
that's
authentic?
Strange.
That's a strange way to put it. Do these look authentic? Or do these look authentic?
Right.
Okay.
Right. Clearly fishing for,
He did some weird things as well. But I can interpret this a different way. I'll let you. I'm going to say it, and you interpret it how you will. He practiced panning shots, of horses and his friends to master like a manual focus. Some may say, well, what he was doing was, practicing to fabricate this Bigfoot film, right? He's practicing because he has to pan the shot as something's moving. Some have argued that, but that's purely speculation.
I mean, you could also just as easily argue that if the guy, because they were searching for Bigfoot side, that's what they were out there looking for, which is ironic that they found it. But you could argue that he was
absolutely
practicing or making preparation in case he saw one to capture a usable video.
Or in the alternative, that
you'd want to.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, if you're going into the woods to film wildlife of any kind, I mean, you're gonna want to be proficient with your camera, right? So, yeah,
Mhm.
you could say he was trying to hoax it, but you could also say he was trying to practice for if he actually saw something.
Yeah, that's true. Um, his brother-in-law actually ran this film shop, which is interesting. He could have
Hmm.
been, and we know that he'd been there in advance. Okay, he'd gone there in 1963 and I think 1965. So he's finding tracks. I'm assuming he's probably taking molds. It wouldn't be out of the it wouldn't be completely bizarre for him to have found a track and put a mold in it,
Yeah.
whether it have been an actual track or not. Right?
Yeah, I think they did find. I think that's why they decided to shoot that area. Is I think they had found
Correct.
tracks there in the past, or some kind of evidence there in the past.
You see that?
Yeah.
That's one of the impressions.
Okay.
I one
From
point
from that day or from a previous.
this I believe was from a previous one.
Okay.
This was from prior to the Patterson Gimlin film. But I have to point out, I think
Yeah.
it's interesting. I the size, like the foot size, is actually,
Hmm.
there are some basketball players that have larger size feet
Oh
than
yeah.
this, which is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on what kind of
It's kind of weird.
thing made the footprint. If it's a juvenile, if it's
That's true.
certain age groups
true.
are going to be smaller than others.
I guess my point being is that if
But
somebody
you're
was
totally right.
10 foot tall and, 600 pounds, I might expect it to have bigger than size 14 or 15 feet. I mean, I
Yeah.
have size 13. So,
Right. Right.
I'm just saying, I'm pointing that out. That's interesting. I
Yeah.
don't
No,
know.
absolutely. It's a valid point.
So let's talk a little bit about the encounter. At 1 p.m., he followed it's 14 and a half foot tracks they found. Okay. And it was along the sandbar in Bluff Creek. Later on, there was a big flood, it was just not long after that. And the entire landscape changed, and it's changed to this day. Although
Hmm.
they were able to find it. It actually took Patterson a while to find it again as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Or around a bend, about 100 and 120 feet, they saw a creature crouched by the stream. Okay. The horse rears. Patterson almost falls off, but he dismounts. He starts filming as he's getting off the horse. Okay. Frames 1 through 50 are blurred motion. And we would expect that to be blurred because he's getting off his horse. He probably, they're
Right.
driving. Oh my gosh, what is this? Holy moly. I wasn't even expecting
Right.
it this soon. He takes it out, right? And he's jumping off. He's trying to get it as he's moving. So 1 through 50 is blurred motion and the camera shaking.
Yeah, I also think that's an interesting argument that people make because it's like, if it was too perfect of a video, it would be like, oh well, that's fake. Look how perfect it is. He's running, he's getting off his horse. You wouldn't have a video like that. But because it's that blurry and it's real life, people are like, oh, it's a crappy video.
Yeah, yeah. And listen, no one's ever taken the time to explain that what we're seeing on TV and what we're seeing on YouTube and what we're seeing on our computer and our phones is the format that has been adjusted to fit our modern day screens. So they had to create frames to get to that level. So yes, it looks really, really bad.
I still think it looks pretty damn good. I mean, it was technology at the time. I mean,
Oh yeah,
I think it's a pretty good looking video. I've seen worse videos on, iPhones and cell phones and these things that have these cameras that people report are supposed to be like legendary. I think that video is better than half of those.
I think the video is short. I think it's,
Yeah.
however, we can learn a lot from it. We can learn a
Absolutely.
lot from it because there's a lot to see. So it walks from the left to the right across the frame 60 to 150. All right, and we're able to measure the sun angle. I'm going to go into details about this because there was an excellent and absolutely fascinating paper that was by Jeff Meldrum. Okay, and he
Yeah,
published
Jeff
this.
Meldrum is the man when it comes to
He's-
Bigfoot.
Exactly. It's just right here. I'm going to share it with you. Analysis integrity of the Patterson Gimlin film image. They did a very thorough investigation. Can you see this?
I can, yeah. I
Okay,
read this. You sent this to me. Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that that I'm not talking to myself and everybody thinks that this
Yep.
is on. It's not. Are you monitoring chat, by the way? Are we getting any messages or anything?
There are no chats coming in. I hope there's somebody here, but
Yeah, I wonder if we're actually.
I sent out a chat to everybody.
Okay. Oh yeah, sweet. No, what are you talking about? We got Cynthia. We got a couple people. Hey.
Oh, I must not be able to see it.
Well, that's very strange. Okay.
I'm in the live stream chat right now, and all I have is my message there.
Okay.
You're saying other people messaged us, or you're saying those people are here?
I'm saying other people are messaging in the live stream chat.
Yeah, I'm in the live stream chat right now. I can't see anything.
Are you Class Christian or Cynthia Mario?
You mean the live stream chat? Are you actually on YouTube? I'm in the live stream chat on Riverside.
Why would you be in Riverside live stream chat? There's nobody watching on Riverside. Nobody even knows what Riverside is.
That was working last week. That's how I was monitoring it.
We are broadcasting through Riverside to YouTube. So
I understand.
Oh, you were able to monitor that on Riverside last time. That's
yeah, last week I was doing it through Riverside.
Wow. Okay. Well, why don't you
let
look
me
at
pull up the YouTube.
And this is good material. I'm sure people are very interested in the technical.
This is great. Great radio.
It's really good.
It's great radio.
No. So
just keep going with what you're doing.
Exactly. I want to talk about this a little bit more because we have a lot to cover. Okay. This is such a thorough analysis. They talk about here. This is what I think is. I'm going to skip through all this. We're not going to go. Let's look at the chain of custody of the film. That's one of the first things I need to understand is the chain of custody, right? The PAC group. That's the Patterson. That's his actual company that he had. Patterson himself sent the original film to a lab for a full frame contact prints, a bunch of them in 1967. Okay, the Patterson Gimlin film, I'm sorry, the PGF, right? A Patterson Gimlin film has complete scans and 3 copies and partial scans as well. Okay. Then we've got transparencies were sent to Kodak Labs, okay? And there was a green group here, okay? They negotiated with Patterson for Canadian rights to the film, okay? They were given the camera original, okay? A&E Group eventually got the film. They obtained the film. And I believe the Kodachrome Group were the last group to have it, and this author somehow went in there and convinced them that, I think he asked to borrow it, and then Dahadin, his last name is, and he ended up just taking it, and it's classified as missing now. You and I did a video on that once.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's missing now technically. Although I'm sure they could just ask him where it is. So we have a chain of custody. And I think what's important to know is one of the things that I learned in researching this is you got different types of editing. The question is the film edited? Is it spliced?
Right.
Okay, well, editing is different from splicing. Splicing can be part of editing, but there's a certainly distinct difference there. Now, there is evidence that the film had been sliced in some areas, but but not edited in any way. But I understand that
the content of it wasn't edited.
Correct, and it wasn't put out of sequence or anything like that. He just clipped off the beginning, which they have because it was largely out of focus. So I'm showing you right now. I wanted to show you. Here we go. You can see this, right? Yeah, of course you can.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got different types here. There's glued overlap that you can do. There's tape edge splice cut. None of this. They've checked for all this. None of this. There's a tab cut. Not as often do you see this. This is more in photography and lab work. You might see a tab cut. There's diagonal cuts. We don't really see that. In this case, there was a cut, and we saw it. It was a horizontal cut. But other than that, there's no other splicing.
Right.
Okay, so we see that. Okay, and we examined it for artifacts too. Go ahead.
I think it's important to mention too. In that article, they discuss the fact that it would be not only nearly or virtually impossible, but 100% impossible for the technology available at the time for them to edit or change any of the content in terms of hoaxing it, with us unable to detect it with today's technology. There was no way for them to be able to do that without us knowing that they did it.
They examined the shadows in these film frame by frame. We examined the shadows. and we look for artifacts. Okay. Now we noticed, and I want to point this out. A lot of times people are seeing videos. Well, we've seen evidence of splicing. Okay, we've seen evidence, and I've mentioned the film was spliced. They've seen evidence of splicing, but this is not on the originals. What we're seeing, this is in the copies. There have been a number of copies. There are 3 like verified copies that they have, and then there's many other copies. For instance, news programs ran versions of it, and they spliced, right, because they're trying to. We're not trying to waste time here. We want to just cut to the important parts. So those are spliced. They get mixed up in the whole mix of this whole mythos, and people are saying, well, yes, it is spliced. And in some cases, they've edited it, but that's not the copy that we're talking about. We're not talking about.
And there's thousands of different versions of it, depending on who was putting it out in the news or on their program.
And as you can see here, they examined the actual. We're looking at right here. This is a blue box branch. Okay, white line, 22 pixels. Okay. And we can examine it beforehand and afterhand, frame by frame, to see if this is accurate, if there's any evidence of tampering. There was none. The original film shows no evidence of tampering. Here's an example of one of the clear images they have, and a blurry image in the frame that they have. Okay, and this is in the Patterson Gimlin film. Okay, pristine. This one here is the blurred image because it has both. They also examined here. Right here, if you could see, there's a tree right near him. Right here is a really large tree. They examined the tree that's in blue, and then they actually saw the shadow, of the tree on her back. Sorry, on the Bigfoot. They think it's a female on Patty's back. Right. So this is another consistency that shows that this is not necessarily, and it's not fabricated. So as to the film's veracity, I'm convinced that it has not been edited. This is an absolutely authentic film.
Right.
That says nothing about whether Bigfoot is real or not. The film, I am saying, is authentic. It represents what we are seeing. Now, I want to point something out here. A lot of people think, I'm going to show you here, that this is a thumb sticking out and this is a hand. That is not true. That has been established to be an artifact. His hand here it's actually like a fist almost right here.
Yeah, that stuff is in the background.
Correct. Yeah, a lot of people have pointed that out. They've examined here to see, as you can see, there's a light that appears in number 2 frame, and then it appears in actually frame here in frame 613. And you'll notice that on copy number 1, V713, it appears there. But if you look on copy number 3, I told you there are 3 verified, VC613, it's not over here. So as you can see, there are even variations between the copies themselves. So someone examining this, let's say somebody had copy 3, they could say, well, listen, there's a problem here. We see this here, and we don't see it over here. This is the original. Okay, so these are artifacts. We can examine the artifacts. They've examined the shadows as well.
Right.
Okay. Oh, darn it. Somebody said something, and that was you. Hey, I see you. You're there now.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, got it. Now, I'm going to just show you here.
Yeah, I have the chat up, so don't worry.
Okay, yeah. So this right here, this is actually a very good image here. Now, this is a pretty clear image here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's about as clear as it gets.
It's a very clear image.
That's
I can actually make out facial
image.
Details. I can make, right?
Which is huge. You can make out, in the analysis of the video itself, you can make out the muscular structure, the gait, all of that stuff in the analysis of the authenticity of the video is huge.
Yeah, truly is. Truly is. This is, I really recommend, I'm going to put all this information up, for everybody to see at the end. I know I've been trying to put everything on the website. I just haven't had time. It's hard to do it. But I'll say it again. Analysis integrity of the Patterson Gimlin film image. And this is by Bill Munns and Jeff Meldrum. Excellent. This is 2013. Highly, 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 highly recommend it. Very, very good. Really, really good read. Fascinating. Breaks it down frame by frame.
Yeah, it's excellent.
So he went out there with the intent of trying to find Bigfoot, and and he happened to find it. Is that completely unheard of?
I mean, it's unheard of because nobody has footage like this of Bigfoot, but it's pretty lucky. I'll give you that. But again, they were looking in areas where they already had evidence from. So I don't think it's that far-fetched. I mean, that's exactly how you would track something. If you're looking for a specific animal, if you're looking for a specific anything, even when you're, looking for fugitives or whatever, you're going to go where you think they are. So the likelihood of you running into them is higher. So
yeah. And I
don't people use that as evidence of the fact that they faked it or hoaxed it, but I think that that's actually the opposite. I mean, why wouldn't you go to a place where you think it is if you're looking to find that thing?
And we know he made several scouting expeditions and took casting molds specifically for this.
Yeah, that's also important. That's a great point too, is that it's not as if he hadn't in the past gone out to look for Bigfoot and failed. He did many times. He didn't just wander in on the first time and be like, "Oh, look, I found him." Yeah, that would be very suspicious. Mm-hmm. But he did go out and fail several times, and until this happened.
Yep, and he went to an area that is, is well known for purported Bigfoot sightings as well.
Right.
I feel it necessary to point that out.
Absolutely.
Right.
What a great place to start. That's a smart move.
Yeah. There have been claims. Okay, this is just a gentleman by the name of Hieronymus. It's really cool. He came out and said, "Hey, this is all fake. I'm the guy that was wearing the suit."
This has happened a couple times.
Yeah, I wore the suit. Now it's been pointed out that listen, there's no way that he could have made those strides. He's also, there's no way the subject is 7 foot 4 inches. I think they said. He's nowhere near that. So
yeah,
unfortunately, that's unlikely. There was no, the footprints themselves have been deemed legitimate as well.
Right.
Jeff Meldrum, who's kind of like the expert on this, if you will. This, I don't know how trustworthy, how well I'm going to take this guy Hieronymus's claims. I've read a lot about this guy, and, I think people are easy to jump on Patterson because he was indeed seeking the limelight. He was seeking the limelight, and he did want to profit from this film, and he did want to profit from finding Bigfoot. He absolutely did.
Right.
But just because you're looking to profit from something doesn't necessarily mean that whatever you're doing is, illegitimate. It doesn't delegitimize it. In fact, in some ways, it legitimizes it in my mind.
That's exactly, I would agree. Would anybody else do anything differently if they either found or had evidence of it? I mean, is there anybody out there that wouldn't want to profit from that?
That's a really good question.
I mean, all of a sudden when people are sitting behind their keyboards and they're being weekend warriors,
keyboard warriors
are the most altruistic, noble human beings. But if you had a chance to profit from that, anybody would.
Absolutely. And now he didn't really profit much. I believe it was $4,000 in his entire life before he died. He died shortly.
Yeah, I think he ran all over Hollywood trying to sell it, though.
He did. He ran over Hollywood. What did they say in chat? Somebody said something.
Cynthia said that there has to be some footage for people to scrutinize. It puts an idea in your head. The others who see it are caught off guard because the experience was meant just for them.
What do you think? What does that mean?
I just fall back to my point that everybody and it's great to have critics of this stuff because you need critics. That's how you otherwise you would just take everything that people say as fact. You have to criticize this stuff. I totally agree with that. But I just fall back on the idea that people are so critical of every single piece of everything, and they always fall back on the argument of, well, there's no evidence, there's no video, why can't we get video? And then when we have video, they refuse to accept it as proof.
However,
even when we can't debunk it. We talked before about the gentleman who came out saying that it was him in a suit. So then they analyzed the video. Right. They did a scientific analysis of the movements of the creature in that video and determined that the way the cranial structure was, the way it sat on the shoulders, the head sat on the shoulders.
The sheer size of it.
And the gait and the walk with the movement of the arms and the legs in whatever fashion they relate to each other, that human beings could not walk like that. And it was the exact same way gorillas walk. So, come on.
Well, we'll look at let's look at Patterson himself. He was born 1933. He's a rodeo rider, an inventor, an amateur artist. Sounds like a guy trying to find his way. Chronic cancer diagnosis 1970, died 72. Okay, age 38, young guy when he died, right?
Oh wow, I didn't know he was that young.
He earned less than $4,000 from the film. There's no evidence of wealth gain whatsoever. His last interview was 1972, and he said, "I know what I saw." He maintained that up into his deathbed. His Gimlin has also maintained that this is accurate, even though Gimlin got burned, and we're going to talk about that. In fact, Bob Gimlin, 31, he was a horse trainer. He not interested so much in Bigfoot, although he was a very good, loyal friend of Patterson. And when Patterson asked him to go out with him, out there searching for Bigfoot, Gimlin, who didn't believe in Bigfoot, but was open to the idea and was more interested in hanging out with his friend, agreed and said, sure, listen, I don't really believe in Bigfoot, but listen, I'll go with you. And you know what? If we see Bigfoot, then that's great, and then I might, prove me wrong, exactly. He was completely fine, but he was, I would say he was, open-minded. We'll put it that way. Very open-minded. Sure. Now he passed polygraph in 1999 and 2005. Passed polygraphs on this. So, I guess he could be a psychopath. Could fit. He could be possibly. I didn't take him as a psychopath though. Maybe he was able to trick. Could have tricked it. Right. He's a tricker.
Yeah, I mean polygraphs are not 100% accurate. I think they're terrible pseudoscience, but
yeah. This guy Gimlin,
at least he passed it.
He was able to fool it, apparently. If we're going to go with the hoax thing, right? He is still alive, and he could sue us.
I would go as far as to say, he is still alive? Yes. I would say that if these guys were able to go out there and fake this to this quality, they would have had much better careers in Hollywood.
I think Gimlin, actually. No, Gimlin is still alive. Yeah, he is. Wow. Okay. Yeah, he's an old guy, though. I think, he'd have to be pretty good.
For sure.
Pretty good liar, right?
I mean, not even pretty good liar. They'd have to be pretty good at every type of level of production, makeup, all of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you'd have to have knowledge of this makeup. And in fact, a lot of makeup artists, professional artists examine this. Professional Hollywood film special effects. They examined it. They said this is not possible to do in this period. Right. It's not possible. Right. And it would be an enormous effort to do it now. Okay, we have a hip extension range of 60 degrees versus a human of 45 degrees. That is a massive difference. Massive. Okay, the mid-tarsal break, right, is visible in frame 72 and onward here. You have unique primate features, muscle movements. You actually can see the muscle movements in the calves. They are moving. You can see it in the original film. I know it's difficult to see it on the 59-second clip. I think that was even shorter than a 59-second clip. I think we cut that down even further.
The one that you showed, that was only like 15 seconds, I think.
Yeah, I definitely did. The arm swing momentum is consistent with a mass greater than 400 pounds. Okay, so we're able to determine that as well.
Yeah. Yeah,
what do we think?
It all points to the fact that this is nearly impossible for them to have hoaxed, or it is the greatest single hoax ever orchestrated.
Well, I mean, listen, whether you believe this or not, it is. If it is a hoax, it is in fact the greatest hoax ever.
Without a doubt.
Because we're still talking about it today. No one's been able to prove it a hoax even now.
Right.
And we've had many other Bigfoot videos that have come out, many videos, and they've all been debunked and they've all been thrown out the window. Why is this one still a subject of debate?
Because it's real.
There have been, I just showed you, I've told you, there's research papers, there's other ones on this, very thorough examination of at least the film. So whether, if we want to say that that's Hieronymus or somebody else in a potential suit, is possible. Unlikely, though. Highly unlikely.
Yeah. The funny part is, that is easy to debunk. That claim.
Yeah.
The claim that it's real is difficult to debunk, and it's easy to authorize and analyze because of everything we just said. It's difficult to prove that this was a guy in a suit. Because it just can't be done like that.
It is difficult. I want to play that film. Actually, I want to play something else. Now, I didn't mention this yet. Patterson, I told you, made less than $4,000 for this. He actually, he made a deal with a studio for his film to be kind of used in a documentary, and the documentary actually came out. And I actually have that documentary, and I fast forwarded it to the point where it's Patterson's story. This documentary talks a lot about different, different things here, and it includes Patterson's story. This is what he was all about getting. I want to just get it for you now, right here. It's called Bigfoot, Man or Beast, the original classic full documentary. Here it is. It's on We Watch. I'll try to remember to list that, but here we go. Let me know if. Oh shoot! Let's see if you can hear it. Let me know if you can hear it. Can you hear it?
Yep.
Perhaps the most startling and far-reaching event in the recent history of Bigfoot hunting happened to a long-time investigator by the name of Roger Patterson. In October of 1967, he and a friend were in the Bluff Creek area of Northern California to investigate a reported sighting of two creatures. Suddenly his horse shied as a large creature stood erect from behind a log where it had been drinking from the creek. Patterson grabbed a 16-millimeter camera from the saddlebag and jumped from the back of the rearing horse to take the following pictures. Let's hear in Patterson's words exactly what happened that day.
As I walked across the sandbar, I was able to get some fairly good footage of it. It turned a couple of times and looked at us.
Everybody was drunk back then.
And as it turned, it seemed to give me the impression that it didn't want anything to do with us. It didn't run. It didn't act scared, but yet it acted leery of us.
What was
Patterson
it? It acted leery of us?
Leery of us.
Got it. But he found that even the film was in question. As a result, the footage was submitted to experts in various fields.
That's it. You got it. That's Bigfoot. You got him. That's not him? That's him.
Active in the motion picture industry since 1939 as an impersonator of animals of the ape family, Mr. Prohaska was convinced that Roger Patterson had filmed a living wild creature.
That was the guy.
That was
the
him.
movement is the only thing what throwed me a little bad, because he moved a little bit more like a man than an animal. Because you could see all the muscles
like
on
a man.
the body and the whole movement.
That's from.
It didn't move like a costume at all. And the size of it was enormous, big size. So I don't know if they find a big man like that.
Mr. Prohaska, you mentioned that the creature did not move, as if it were a costume. Do you think it would be possible to create such a costume?
Monkey man.
That would be difficult. I don't think so. Because that costume, if it would be a costume, that would have taken such a long time to put the hair. You should put the hair by glue on. That would take about 10 hours, the whole makeup job. And it looked to me very, very real. I'm doing this since 1939. Jeez. And if that was a costume, that was the best I have ever seen.
And you heard it from a guy in a monkey costume.
Yeah, the guy's literally wearing
Ron Olson of the North American Wildlife Research Association has studied the Patterson footage as much as anyone. Ron, what did you see in this footage?
Well, this footage proved to me that these creatures are real and that they do exist.
Now, how tall would you estimate that one to be?
This creature was estimated by scientific methods to be about 7.5 to 8 feet tall. He was taking a stride of about 47 inches to 65. After he became spooked or more scared, he stretched to 65.
Now, how does the length of that stride compare to, well, let's say the average stride of a man?
Well, the average stride of a man is about, maximum stride of a man would be about 3 feet.
Now, that arm appears to be proportionately longer than, say, a human arm.
Yeah, for sure.
Have there been any estimates worked out on that?
Yes, there has. The arm is, and always has been in all sightings, in all cases, definitely longer than a human's. Here the creature shows large pendulous breasts. The indication here, of course, is that it is a female creature.
Do you expect to capture one of these?
Well, this is, of course, our, I suppose you'd call the finale of our whole program is to make a capture. We want to make a live capture, and with this, we are using tranquilizing equipment
Wow.
We hope to bring one of these things in with
I actually didn't watch
live
this whole thing,
capture,
just
live and unharmed, to prove once and for all that this does exist. And since it does exist, maybe then there can be laws and things passed to protect these creatures so that
You mean from
they'll
people
never
shooting it with
become extinct.
tranquilizers like yourself? I mean, seriously.
In the past 2 years,
How do I get
there has
this?
been a new undertaking.
Oh, man.
I want to know what the chat thinks. Does the chat think that the video is real? What are people thinking? What's the opinions?
They all checked out and they all said, F you, this is BS. That's it. That's the end of that. We lost them all.
There it is. And they'll never come back.
Never coming back. No. So that's an interesting take, right? And they kind of they talk old timey too. I like that.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, see? It's a man.
Yeah, I like how they talk. And everything's kind of like moving faster and like old timey footage too.
Right.
Just because it's 16 millimeter film that he's using. I have to tell you, it doesn't look like a guy in a costume, or it doesn't look like a person in a costume. Listen, make it what you will of it. It doesn't, in my opinion, look like a person in a costume.
No, I totally agree.
I don't know what it is, but it doesn't look like a person in a costume.
Right.
That guy,
and I think
you heard it from the unidentified man in a monkey suit, right? You don't even know who he is, but he said it's impossible. Apparently,
he is an expert on people wearing monkey suits.
Actually, I think at the time he was like a preeminent like special effects guy. I didn't introduce who he was, but it's because I fast forwarded a little bit. But this was a grand poobah of special effects and monkey wearing. And he says, if that guy says it's not possible, well, actually, he said it's possible, but it would take an enormous amount of time. Well, he says if it's a hoax, it's the best hoax he's ever seen.
Yeah, it's the best he's ever seen. So that's pretty compelling.
These guys don't strike me as, they don't strike me as, the kind of guys that are practiced and, expert enough in conning people to be able to put on a hoax like this. I mean, he couldn't even make $4,000 off of this film.
Right.
Forget
there was
about
no way.
Do this
they would have never
entire
been able.
hoax.
They would have never been able to pull that off into that fashion, where it would have been that effective. No way.
That
it would have looked
that
terrible.
sticks out. That sticks out to me, right? We've got that. If it was like a serious team of hoaxsters, of con men, this guy was not good at that. I mean, listen, Gimlin at some point he went around like a good friend, going on tour, trying to help promote this movie, trying to make some money. He didn't really make any. And at some point he said, listen, I'm not doing it anymore. And he said he was getting a lot of public making fun of him, the wacko that believes in Bigfoot. He couldn't take it anymore. He dropped out. He said, I'm not interested. Don't talk to me about it. So that's it. Now, Patterson, this is where it gets a little sketchy. His behavior is sketchy. He hires a guy, an actor, to play Gimlin, and then goes out on the road and tells the story. And here's Gimlin right here. He was with me, and and this is not even him. Now, Gimlin finds out about this, of course, and he was never even consulted on this. He was very hurt, and there was a rift between them for a long period of time. Then, on Patterson's deathbed, Gimlin, I think he visits him the night, if I'm correct, I think he visits him the night before he dies, which is suspicious in itself. And Patterson passes away. He forgives him. They reconcile, and that's it. And he has reaffirmed since then, Gimlin, that it has happened. And he said that a lot of his pulling back from society and talking about it had to do with the fact that he felt burnt, and he was burnt by Patterson.
I'm sure, yeah.
Plus, he's getting people making fun of him, and that's easy. That's more than enough to want to pull away from something. I totally get that.
Hands down.
Totally get that. I mean, look, people think I have lupus apparently in this on our channel. So you know.
Well, Cynthia thinks it's 100% real.
Okay.
She's with
She
it.
said that.
Yep.
All right. Let me see what she said.
And I tend to agree.
Real. Okay, thank you. Yes, the footage is 100% real. I believe it's real too. How much money did he fork out to go in search for filming? That's a very good question. He borrowed, to answer that question, he borrowed around
$700. He took a loan out, right?
Yeah. $700 is the answer to that. And he made under $4,000. So if we were on Shark Tank, do you think Mark Cuban would buy his business?
No, Mark Cuban doesn't buy any businesses.
I've actually been getting into Shark Tank a lot lately, so unfortunately.
Yeah, you're about 15 years late on
I'm behind on everything, so yeah. I don't even have time to watch TV, but every once in a while I'll throw it on. I'm like, wow.
No, it's a good
great.
show. You find
It's
some good stuff on there.
Yeah. But no, he would probably value, from what I'm seeing, people value their businesses really high. He'd be like, listen, we're going to make millions of dollars on this film. It's a shame he didn't have a shark to help him out, because he's not a businessman. He wasn't able to do it. And if he was a con man, at least he'd be able to con his way. He wasn't even a con. He couldn't even con his way to making more than $4,000 on this film. So now to suggest that he is somehow orchestrated the perfect hoax, that now in 2025 we're still talking about this video that has not been debunked.
We can't prove that it's
and in fact we've proved that we've essentially established that the film itself is authentic.
Yeah, it's actually kind of sad if you think about it, because this guy literally captured the most incredible piece of evidence, probably that, like Cynthia said it too, that will ever exist. And he got nothing for it. Yeah.
It's just true. He got nothing for it. Absolutely nothing for it, right? When you look at it. That's probably the ultimate, it's just really sad.
Yeah.
I mean, if this happened today, you put it on YouTube, it goes viral, right?
Yeah.
And that's it. He's set. He's
even not even financially. I mean, just from a respect and a standpoint like that. I mean, he did it. He actually did it and found it, and he gets zero credibility for it.
It's really sad. I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play that. Oh, let me actually talk about something that people. This is. This is a strange thing that happened. So I told you that he went to go visit his brother-in-law at the film shop, and he showed plaster casts prior, saying, does this look authentic? And it sounds kind of a weird thing to say, does this look authentic? And then he'd go back and he'd come back with another one. They would discuss, does this look authentic? No, because I don't see a metatarsal, metatarsal area between,
Right.
Okay, so he'll come back with another one. Does this look better?
Mm-hmm.
And he'd say, yeah, that's closer. That's closer. That's sketchy.
Right.
Now, I have a theory about that. It's not entirely impossible to conceive that maybe he was planning to hoax it. And he's not just because he's not a professional con artist doesn't mean he's not going to try to hoax it. In fact, it sounds like he was going to. Maybe he was going to go there and put some fake impressions. Who knows? Maybe not. But then all of a sudden saw something. Now, I would find it I'd hard pressed to believe that he'd go out there and hoax it in front of his friend, who's clearly not a believer and hasn't been told that this was going to be a hoax or anything like that. So it's possible that he was planning on it, and then this just happened.
Or it's possible he was also I mean, you can have both things existing at the same time. The video footage could be 100% real, and then he figures, I'm going to need something to bring back from this, and then he hoaxed a couple of footprints. I mean, that's both things. It's not mutually exclusive that those two things can't happen.
I agree. Yeah. There's a huge flood. We know it was destroyed.
Right.
There was a 4K scan of the film in 2010 by Munns. That's one of the guys that did that article that I just, the research article that I put up before. And it revealed a skin fold beneath the right breast. Okay. So they got that. They actually see a skin fold there. Okay. This is more evidence of detail. We've got details that are showing here. What are your thoughts on the skin fold?
Yeah, I mean, it's actual anatomical evidence of this creature that if they were trying to hoax this, they never would have included some of these features. It's actual anatomical things that are on this animal because it exists in nature. And if they were going through all the trouble to get a fake suit and all of these things, why would they? You think they would have been like, let's make this a female. Let's get a female suit, and let's include these different aspects of a gorilla on it. I mean, that would have cost them an incredible amount of money, and nobody would have been able to do that. It's just more evidence to the fact that it's an actual biological creature.
And in fact, I'm glad that you said that. Right here, do you see this here? This is a drawing. A gentleman who, a little prior to the famous Patterson and Gimlin film, saw this creature here, and they drew a sketch of it. You can see breasts. Can you see the breasts on it?
Yeah.
It was in the area, around the area that he saw this, and he reported what he saw. And this is one of the things that prompted him to go and look, because, and some people suggest that Patterson read about this account and then fabricated and scripted this video based on this account, what you're seeing right here, and this particular right here, around these things right here. Do you see these?
Yes.
Right here. So, and is it a coincidence that this guy saw, or he claims to have seen a female with prominent breasts, Bigfoot, and then Patterson goes there and finds it? Well, listen.
No, because
the guy saw it beforehand. I mean,
exactly. That's just further. You could say, you could say, oh yeah, he saw that and decided he could use that as evidence, but it's also just as easy to say, yeah, because that thing lived there. Multiple people saw it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
I know it's a little bit crazy. I want to show you Gimlin in case anybody's curious what he looks like now. He's an elderly man right now. Here he is for everybody to see. I'm sure everybody's dying to see that. There he is. I like his turquoise ring.
He's got a style to him.
Well, that's kind of like the Midwest style. They like wearing the turquoise rings, and that's kind of cool. You know, I can't see that. So we've got a film. We think that it's legitimate. Now the question is what we're seeing in the film, is that a Bigfoot? That's the question. This is Pine Bluff, just in case anybody's curious. Just to show everybody that. Okay. Not that that was really going to do much for us here, but I wanted to show that to you. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to show here one more time the film. I think that's important. I can't get this thing up here. Right here is what she said. Wow, I can hear the wind behind me so strong right now. It's really, really strong. It is. Can you hear it?
I think that's from me over here.
No, I think it's me right behind me as I'm sitting right in front of a window.
Yeah, I have the usually you can hear it through the pipes of the burner here.
Oh, okay.
The air vent that goes up.
Fancy. Here we go. Can you see this again? Oh, actually, we trimmed it. We trimmed it to 10 seconds.
Yeah.
I trimmed that really. I really trimmed that one. Look at that. Everything about the movements of that. I mean, it has a human aspect to it in so much as its mannerisms are human, but its walk and its appearance are apish, right? But its mannerisms remind me of human in so much as look how it turns, right? How it turns.
Yeah,
look, it's very
but
human.
so does if you watch any primate at the zoo, it's the same thing.
This one seems well. I'm not using that as a to suggest that it's not real. What I'm suggesting is it doesn't appear to be like a bear, right? It certainly is not a bear. Right? A bear, and you might say, well, maybe it's a bear with mange, suffering, like the hair is falling out and it looks strange.
People have said that before.
Right? It could be, but I don't think so. First off, it's enormous. It's swinging its arms. I've never seen a bear swing its arms like that. Never. I don't even know if that's possible. Plus, I think a bear's arms are kind of short, aren't they? They're not long like a primate.
I think that would be very difficult to mistake.
To swing it. It's actually like swinging like this almost, right? It turns around like
especially
this.
in broad daylight.
And in broad daylight. Now, a bear would likely retreat. That's brown. That would be a brown bear. I don't necessarily see a brown bear retreating like that on its feet, walking and swinging its arms. That I mean, I don't see that.
I think that's a little much. Yeah,
that's a lot. If it's a person, they would have to be in a very, very heavy suit. They would have to, I'm assuming, be on stilts. Right, stilts would need to be involved, right? There has to be stilts involved because it's enormously tall, right? And somehow the stilts have to be able to, have a fake foot that kind of you can see how the foot is moving, right? And it's consistent, right? Like a foot move. Now, Bigfoot's foot is different from a human foot, right? So it's consistent as well.
Yeah, it would have its digits would have to be dexterous.
When they examined the film, they were able to determine that there is a weight shift from left to right foot by examining the puffs of sand and smoke that actually come up. You can see the sand kicking up when you zoom in on the feet walking. So they're actually able to tell that there is a genuine shift of weight in this animal or
Right.
creature or person. Could be a person, right? Person. It could be. I have a hard time accepting that this is a person only because it just looks so genuine for the time.
Yeah, it looks
For
like
the
because it
time.
looks like an animal because it is an animal.
It looks like an animal, and part of me also, I understand. I understand why people say this is a person, okay? Because it doesn't look like a bear, and in many forms it looks like a humanoid, right? It looks like a person. And its mannerism, it's kind of acting like a person. It's walking on 2 feet. It's swinging its arms.
Because literally the only two things that it could be is either a person or a Bigfoot.
A person or an undiscovered primate. I think,
Right. Yeah. Let's put it like that. Sure.
Right. A person or an undiscovered primate of some kind.
Right.
That's just somehow living out and apparently thriving, not just living, but thriving, right? Because it's enormous. It's enormous, which means that it's consuming an enormous amount of food.
Right.
Now, something that size, I would say, would have to be carnivorous, or at least omnivorous.
Yeah, there's reports of both, but they also tend to. I mean, again, you read Jeff Meldrum. They think they move with animals, with like herds of animals, kind of following them. So I think you would have to think that they would be at least omnivorous, especially something of that size.
Because you need an enormous amount of energy.
Right.
You're not getting that on a vegan diet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
As much as I'd like to, you're not getting that on that. So so if it is carnivorous, the question is, what is it eating? We know one thing it's probably not eating, right? We would say people. I might want to say people, but there are enormous amount of people that go missing in national forests every year.
Sure.
Right? Missing 411. That would be an interesting thing to correlate. Maybe those people are turned out to be food. It's not funny, but maybe it turns out to be food for Bigfoot. We don't know.
Right.
It's an interesting theory. I'm just putting out there. I don't know. I am definitely. I am satisfied that the film is authentic. What we are led to believe that we're seeing, we are seeing. We are seeing a humanoid figure, a hairy brown humanoid figure, walking across a sandbar, swinging arms, and looking back at the cameraman, Patterson.
Right.
Roger Patterson, looking back, and then and continue walking. It actually looks like they're not running, but it's moving pretty fast, right?
It's clearly it's agitated.
He jumps off the horse. I noticed he says the horse reared. He jumped off. He starts filming as he's jumping off. So he wasn't anticipating seeing this. I don't think you can anticipate seeing something
not
like
at all. No way.
No, absolutely not. I think I recently sent. Did I show you that picture where I think I saw a Bigfoot?
Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure what it was. It was near a $10 million house, though. Do we think that that's still a Bigfoot?
Maybe he has high tastes, that Bigfoot.
I was driving around looking at houses. People like to just drive around, look at nice houses in neighborhoods, right? Just for fun. See how the other side lives, not the trash like us. And I drive, past this house. I'm like, wow, $10 million house. Wow, that would be, I can't imagine living in that. That would be amazing. And I'm driving past, and I'm like, wait, what the heck? In the driveway, keep in mind, this house is empty. They haven't been able to sell it in, I think, 2 years. And so it's a very long driveway. It's in a very wooded area of Vermont. And I mean, right in front of me, I see what appears to be a Bigfoot. It's the only thing I could describe it. An enormous thing. It's not right in front of me. It's down. I would have had to trespass onto their driveway and gone down quite a bit to get to it. Now, I'm an attorney. I didn't feel comfortable trespassing just because everything inside me screamed, you can't trespass. So I'm standing right on the edge of the property line, and I'm filming it with my phone, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm trying to text Jimmy, but unfortunately I have no service. I think I started texting you about it, and it just cut off. And you're like, "Are you alive?"
That's why I text. I was very concerned that you became Bigfoot food.
I know, But like, this person, they haven't been able to sell this $10 million house, and apparently there's a Bigfoot that moved in. How nice is that?
Then they should charge an extra $1 million.
Yeah, I know. God. Hey, it's nice
Comes
to
with
see
the
how the
Bigfoot.
other side lives, right? They're out there. They're. So I mean, who knows where they live, what their environment is like? We know that they in that park apparently.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's going to be limiting human access.
A lot of people say, "Hey, listen, there's no Bigfoot. How come we never seen any bones? How come we never found any bones?"
Well,
I have a counter for
there's
that.
a couple. There, go ahead. What's yours? I have a couple theories.
They say
as
there's
well.
200 bears for every Bigfoot out there. How often do you run into bear bones in the woods? Hey, bear bones.
Hey, that's good.
Right? And there
there's
are some
two-
animals that are known to cover their dead as well. There are animals that
Yes.
are known to cover
Yes.
their dead.
So there were studies done with deer where they would put a deer carcass in a pretty densely wooded area where there's not a lot of people, stuff like that, and they did high speed like motion capture on it, and I think within a span of it was a few days. I mean, everything. We're talking about like the complete life cycle, the complete ecosystem cycle. Every bit of that deer carcass was gone, was eliminated.
What about the bones?
It was as if the bones were either taken by other animals for scraps, things like that. You couldn't tell there was anything there within a matter of days. And also, what you said is another theory. There are people who theorize that Bigfoot actually do bury their dead, that they have a communal lifestyle much more similar to us than people think, and that they do bury their dead. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But also keep in mind, these things are living in such highly and just dense wooded area that people do not go in. People think like, oh yeah, go out in the woods, whatever. They're the woodlands of this country that are just so impassable for human beings are vast. Like there's so much territory out there that people do not go in. And it's asinine to think that you would just, oh yeah, I'm walking in the woods in my backyard, I'm going to run into one of these things. Like they live in the legitimate wilderness that like people don't go in.
There are areas of where where I live in Vermont. I mean, on my own property that I physically can't get to in the wilderness. That I can't. Right. So I don't even know what's there. For all I know, there could be anything could be there. I don't know.
Right.
Could be
as if you would just see a Bigfoot bone, walking down the street.
Well, you know what's interesting,
in Central
Jimmy?
Park or something.
I read that they say that it would actually, believe it or not, be more likely that you would find a Bigfoot bone if it was buried, believe it or not. They say because when it's left out, like you pointed out, when it's left out just on the forest floor, these animals are dragging it away,
That's interesting. That's an interesting thought, yeah.
That's what they said. They said because it would be, you'd actually be less like it. Now, I guess, once again, I can devil's advocate. I can see someone saying, yeah, but even like, a skull, a finger bone, a fingertip. I mean, we found that Homo, what is it? The
Erectus?
Homo florensis, that other type of human being. I think they were able to identify it. They only found like the tip of a pinky, I believe. That's it. And they were able to reconstruct the entire, somehow, the whole animal, what it looked like, the form of a human being, a different version of a human being. They were from the tip of a finger bone.
Mm-hmm.
So someone might say, how come we haven't even found that? If animals came and dragged bones off or did something like that, I'm sure someone's going to come around one day and find a bone. Wow, there's a leg bone here that's this big. What is this? What could this be?
Right.
It looks like a human, so I'm saying somebody might find some of that. And I understand why they suggest it. There is no Bigfoot simply by virtue of the fact that we haven't found any remains.
Mm-hmm.
How do you respond to that? Because I don't know how to respond to that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a valid argument, but I
really
just think that it's not like finding a squirrel or a raccoon or something. I think these things live in places that people just simply do not exist.
I think you're right.
Again, there's areas of the wilderness in this country that are just, you can get to. And if number one, if you don't know what you're doing, you will die if you go out there. And it is just, people don't go there. These, guys that are hunters that go out in these places don't realize that you're going hunting, you're going into the wilderness in places that are sanctioned by your government for you to go out there because they're safely traversable for the most part. These things do not live there.
Yeah. They're not going to be where human activity is.
Absolutely, that too. They're going to be in a place where they know people are not because they are animals, and that's what animals do. So I don't think people account for the idea that there is a tremendous amount of untapped wilderness in this country, all over the world, where these things travel, that you're just not going to run into one. It's not just going to be like, oh yeah, look, there's a deer bone or a deer this, or it's just not the same thing. They don't exist. It's almost like another world that they exist in.
Well, to be fair, I don't see any deer bones or anything like that in the forest.
I see
either.
dead deer all the time.
I don't see any deer bones or anything like that.
Well, right, yeah, bone, right, sure.
I don't find bones. I mean, I've got woods on my property. There's woods there in Vermont. Vermont is 80% wilderness. 80% of the state is covered in wilderness.
Right.
So there are areas that people just can't get to, and no one wants to get there. What are you going to do there? There's nothing there. So I've gone out to the woods a lot. I like to gold prospect. I go panning and I gold prospect. It's a hobby of mine, and who knows? Maybe I'll throw it on the channel, see if people, despise it, and then I'll take it off if they really don't like it. Maybe I'll save it for member content or something like that. But I like to go panning, and I'm out in the woods. I can't think of like any time that I've ever seen dead carcasses. Now, I have cameras up in Vermont, and, I catch on my property. I've seen wolves. I got them on there. I've got bears. I've got, panthers. They call catamounts, and only in Vermont.
Or even think about when you do go out into the woods or the places that human beings can access out there, and how many times you actually see those animals, those common animals too, which is very rare because they stay away from you. They can smell you, they can see you, they can hear you. So they're going to not be where you are. But you hear that. How many times have you been in the woods, either when it's late at night or, dusk or anything like that? You hear all the sounds of the woods, right? You know that there are these things all around you, but you can't see them.
Absolutely. I remember not long ago, I was out on an expedition searching for a lost silver mine in upstate New York.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did a show on it.
Yep. I was up there, and it was late fall, and I misjudged the time. And unfortunately, as we were coming down this mountain, it got really dark. Now, I'm very lucky because I have like this special, it's a flicker, so I could see kind of like predator vision. I could see, all heat signatures. It's funny because I'm hearing this weird noise in the woods near me, and I keep thinking, like, is this some guy going to jump me with a knife or something like that? So I take it out, and I see, like, there's just, like, giant bucks and deer, like, going by. I'm like, oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Right.
I was, afraid somebody's going to try to jump out and mug me in the middle of the woods. I don't know. Or worse. Who knows? We've done some pretty crazy stories here.
Yeah, you're not kidding, bro.
A lot of crazy stuff happens in the woods because it can.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So what is our take? I mean, for the purposes of this Ash Live, I feel confident that the video footage is authentic. It has not been the original, has not been edited, in any way as far as to put artifacts that may be construed as a Bigfoot. I don't see evidence that let me put it this way. I can't confirm that it is a Bigfoot, and I can't confirm that it is a person, but I'll tell you one thing. It doesn't look like a person from my perspective. It doesn't look like a person.
I agree.
Unless it's an actual person that was wearing that suit, that was that size, right? Then maybe if, who knows, maybe they found a guy that was 7'1" and they got him in there and they did that. And somehow they were able to keep him quiet for decades. And,
that's another point of it too. Yeah.
Right. And the only person that came forward was Hieronymus.
I think assuming that that's making a lot of assumptions on the part of it being a fake. I think it's easier to think that it's real than it is to think that it's a fake, honestly. I think that's harder.
I agree. I think, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this up by saying I think we can say the film with a reasonable degree of certainty is accurate. It hasn't been edited. It shows what it what it purports to show. Whether or not that's Bigfoot or not is up to you to decide. My personal point of view, I'll just point out, it doesn't move like a person, and unless that person was enormous, absolutely enormous. And I just don't get the sense that that's the case, based by the gait, the height. We're seeing muscle movements, actual muscle movements beneath the fur, whether it be real fur or not. The type of muscle movements that are too large to be on a person, even a person that might be suffering from some pituitary disease where he's got accelerated growth. It doesn't fit. It doesn't seem kosher. Would you say that makes sense to you?
100%. I think this video is 100% authentic. I think it's real. I think it's the best footage we'll ever have. And I think it's a shame that people don't take it more seriously.
I think people take this very seriously.
I think so too, but I think it gets overly ridiculed.
I do think that. I think because people are, and understandably, suspicious of things
I
that
love
sound
suspicion. Suspicion is great.
Right?
Yeah, suspicion is great. But
someone might say it sounds fantastical, especially since we have no hard evidence. In the public's eyes, there's no hard evidence. We have no bones. We have no live specimen. However, there have been hair samples collected that have been submitted that unidentified. Still to this day, they've been unidentified animals that have belonged to them. These hair samples have been collected. I think Jeff Meldrum was one of the people that collected it as well.
Oh, yeah, he has a ton of samples.
So we've got hair samples that are unidentified, and we find species every day. There are many species going extinct every day, and there are just as many, or if not more, species that they're discovering. They're discovering new species all the time. It begs the question, how can something this large on land elude people for so long? But it goes to what you said, is that they live in an inaccessible area.
And it also hasn't, because we have this evidence, but people don't believe it.
Yeah. I will say, and this was quite far off the beaten trail.
Right, yeah.
Where this was. So it's not like this was easy to get to. It took them a long time to get to this spot.
Right.
It took them quite a bit. So that's all we've had for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to Ash Live. Special thanks to Jimmy Molloy for joining us. Please join us next week, 7 o'clock. We've got something else planned, something special. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next week.